Yo, that's not possible. That is not possible. What the fuck, bro?
It's no secret, New York City is expensive. Now, if you're already subscribed, you know that on my channel, we tour some of the most expensive luxury properties around the world. And recently on YouTube, there's a personal finance trend that's been going around where people document and share their weekly spendings in the city that they live in. And when I added up the costs at the end of this week, I was actually a bit shocked at how much I can spend in a given week. So in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how much I spend in a typical week as a 30-year-old living in one of the most expensive cities in America. Monday morning usually starts around 5 a.m. Hannah and I will wake up, take our time getting out of bed, put on our shoes in the morning.
The key to waking up early is going to bed on time. And if you want to go to bed on time without feeling groggy, you gotta be wearing blue light blocking glasses. Voila! Blue light blocking glasses. The game changer.
That's what we've been waiting for!
It's what we wanted all along!
Your phone emits blue light that essentially deters your body's ability to produce melatonin, therefore suppressing your body, signaling you to go to bed. Therefore, you are awake for a longer period of time. So, if you want to be able to study on your phone or on your laptop late at night without the negative effects of it affecting your sleep the next morning and feeling groggy, you wear blue light blocking glasses. Pro tip, okay? I'm gonna leave a link to the blue light blocking glasses in the description of this video.
Don't understand why I did not see this coming. I do not understand why I did not see this coming.
But other than that, if you find yourself having maybe sleep apnea or trouble sleeping, it's important to get some exercise in earlier on in the day. If you are actually tired, you're more likely to fall asleep. You know kids, right? When kids are usually active, running around, you tend to see how they go to bed a lot quicker, right? They go to bed quicker when they've had a long day at the beach, or they've done a lot of activity. But if throughout the day they're not active, they are more wide awake come evening time. So likewise, for yourself, if you have sleep apnea or trouble sleeping, or even if you have trouble trying to quit an addiction, exercise in the morning, a little 5-minute exercise, 10-minute exercise, or walking up and down the stairs in your building or house allows you to produce the relevant cortisol and balance your hormones by the time it is sleeping time. Okay? Little biohack tip class in session.
I don't even grab my wallet when I walk out the door just because I know I won't be spending any money. The wallet stays at home and we bike to the gym. I've had this bike for 15 years. Biking is a great way to get around the city. Minus the upfront cost of buying a bike, it will pay for itself pretty much instantly compared to other ways of getting around the city. Now, my gym membership is pretty pricey.
So there's two schools of thought. Either you live farther away from downtown, therefore usually you save more money on rent, or you live within the downtown environment and you can afford to walk to certain places without necessarily needing your car. So depending on what stage in life you are at, it might make sense to live a bit further away from the city so that you can save on a fixed rent cost. You know, they say about 33% of your monthly income should be going towards rent. Oh, and speaking of rent, a very great hack is living in AirBnBs. I have a whole video going into a lot more detail on how to do that. I'll leave that link in the description. But if you are low-key a minimalist like myself, you'll find that you'll definitely save a lot more money in terms of not having to buy a bed, buy kitchen utensils, or other housely stuff because the Airbnb provides it for you, right? You might have to move every 2 months or so, but for the most part, you probably save a ton of money in terms of rent. And I know in New York, they have some type of rent fee or some shit that's added on top of the rent, which makes it so much more expensive. So it's something to think about.
It comes out to just around $8.60 per day. They have locations everywhere around the city, and all in all, it's just a nice gym. And something like health, you can't really put a price on. Post-workout, I will have coffee, and coffee will cost me just about 25 cents. Coffee is something I will never pay for. It'll be a very rare occasion that I actually go out and get coffee. Most mornings for breakfast, I will have a massive protein shake. I'm talking this thing has close to 1,500 calories in one shake. I work from home and I film the majority of these videos at home, so for the rest of the day I filmed a video that's going up on our second channel. Then for lunch I had 2 Trader Joe's veggie burgers with lentils, spinach, and a protein shake. The shake costs $2.75, and the total for this lunch comes out to $6.77. Then the rest of the day I spent working on our brand. Hannah and I are actually launching our first company, which is just, I mean, you'll find out a bit more about it later, and we are super excited for that. Then on to dinner. The total cost of this dinner is $2.89, which is pretty damn good for living in New York City. The total cost for Monday comes out to $25.81. And as we go throughout this video, you'll actually see that Monday is the most cost-effective day.
Friendly reminder to not eat out today. Save your money and cook your own food. The money you're spending on fast food could be going towards a week's worth of groceries. Friendly reminder, stack and act broke. And obviously, always check your bank account. Every 2 days or so, check your bank account. The more often you check, the less likely you are to overspend.
Of the entire week. Tuesday morning started off a bit later than Monday. For breakfast, I had a bowl of cereal for 87 cents and a pot of coffee for 25 cents. We don't believe in single-use plastic in this household, so we have a pure water filter, so water is 100% free. Tuesday was my busiest day of the week, tons of meetings lined up, so instead of going to Equinox, I worked out in the basement in my apartment for free. But because Equinox is paid by the month, I still paid the $8.60 for the gym, even though I did not go. After the workout, I had my typical protein shake for $7.30. Then I jumped on the subway for $2.75 to head to my first meeting of the day with Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. Very ironic that I was filming a what I spend in a week video when I'm meeting up with a man who is easily worth in the hundreds of millions of dollars. After the interview with Kevin, I went and grabbed some lunch at Sweetgreen. Normally, I never do this. Like I said, I like to cook all my meals here in the apartment, but on days where I am busy and I'm running around the city, it's just more convenient to grab food on the go. After lunch, I jumped on the subway and headed uptown to Madison Avenue, where I had a pretty big meeting with a real estate brokerage. After the meeting, I walked back to the subway,
That's what it's called. People in New York have a broker fee that essentially adds to the rent that they usually pay. That makes sense, right? Big things to think about: reducing your transportation, housing, or food. These are the three biggest areas that people spend the most money on when it comes to the basic necessities of life. So if you already have a roommate that you share rent with, which is already splitting your costs, but you still pay utilities like gas, electricity, stuff like that, you can look into reducing your utility bills. For example, using less water when you're brushing your teeth, using less water when you are showering, right? So when you're soaping yourself, you turn the water off, and when you want to take the soap off, you put it back on. And then also, if you are in a cold weather environment, lowering your heater when no one's in the house, and then bringing it back up when people, or when you or other people are in the house. So for example, I live in Canada, usually the heater is at 22, 23 degrees or so, but if I leave, I'll lower it down to 17 or 18. These are like the little strategies that you can use to spend less on utilities.
I'm sitting on a bad boy piece of information. Do you understand? A bad boy piece of...
Oh, and also if you can give yourself maybe a budget of $25 to work with throughout the week, anything outside of like groceries or gas, that also makes you have to work with the money that you have available. So let's say you have money for gas, groceries, stuff like that, but anything outside of that, you have $25 to manage for the week, right? Just get into the habit of trying to be more creative with how you spend your money without having no barrier or filter for the money that you spend. And obviously credit cards, not using more than 30% of your credit card limit. You know, you want to have a good, one of the second biggest indicators of a good credit score is having a good credit availability to credit utilization ratio. So if your credit limit is $10,000, you don't want to use more than 30%, so around $3,000, so that you're seen as a reliable person to lend to, because you're not always going over or reaching the limit of your available credit.
For another $2.75. It was late at night, I wasn't really feeling too hungry, so for dinner I just had a protein shake for $2.75, bringing the total for Tuesday's spendings to $45.66. Wednesday morning, I woke up with the sun, not quite as early as the 5 a.m.s. I did some work on my computer from the couch and had my 25-cent coffee. After coffee, biked to the gym with Hannah, and we got in a killer workout for $8.60. Post-workout, I had my usual protein shake for $7.30, and then I had a pretty large spending. YouTube is a business, and I booked my first travel trip for 2020, which ended up costing me $1,401.90. Now this is a business expense. You have to spend money to make money. Now for lunch, I am literally the luckiest guy in the world because Hannah is the best cook. And for lunch on Wednesday, she made a vegan pizza, which was, just look at the clips. Look at these clips. Look how good this thing looks. To make this pizza comes out to just around $6. After...
we all need a real one, man.
Look at this. We created this. This didn't exist before we were here. Look around at the square. I promise you right now, we did this. Doesn't matter what anybody says.
And we need a real one, you know? Get past, with any guy or girl you're dating, get past the honeymoon phase so you can actually see the true character of this person. Give it like, you know, I'd say anywhere from 9 months to a year at least or so, you know, just to see them, just to see if you actually like them past the whole lovey-dovey phase of the relationship, you know what I'm saying? Then you can really see if this person's consistent. Like, think about it, who's gonna be consistent with you for like a whole year or a whole like almost 9-10 months of dating you? It's hard to be consistent and not show your true characters for that extended time period. And maybe, perhaps, I'll just say 2 things before getting into a relationship. 1, maybe asking them about their credit history. I'm just saying, because you're about to invest 3, 4, 5 years of your life into somebody, it might be a good idea knowing what you're getting yourself into in terms of their credit and student loans, which could ultimately become yours if you guys get married, you know? You don't want to be blindsided. This goes to your fiance, and next thing you know, she has like 300K in like credit card and student loan debt combined. So it might be in your best interest asking you, what's your credit score? What's your credit history? You know what I'm saying? Just so that you have an idea of what you're getting yourself into. And then also going on an extended trip to somewhere, right? For like a weekend or so, just to see whether or not you can bear being around this person for an extended time period. Because there's one thing for someone to spend time with you for like an hour or 2, maybe 3 hours for the evening, but if you're around each other for, you know, like a vacation type of thing, or like just a quick getaway, it really shows whether or not this could actually go somewhere.
Hannah and I jumped on the subway for $2.75 and headed down to the West Village for an event with a tourism board. They actually had a good amount of food there, so dinner is technically free. And after that, we headed back home on the subway for another $2.75, bringing the total spendings of Wednesday to $1,432.30. On to Thursday, creature of habit, we woke up, biked to the gym for free, and got in a workout at the gym for $8.60. Post-workout, I made a French press pot of coffee for 25 cents, and of course my protein shake for $7.30. Thursday, again, I was working from home on the new company, and the day kind of just flew by. And for lunch, I had 2 tempeh sandwiches for $6.77. After lunch, got back to work, didn't really film much of that just because it was me sitting in front of my computer. Dinner on Thursday was pretty light. I just had one of those small protein shakes for $2.75. Then Thursday night, there was another expenditure that isn't in the typical week of what we would spend. We took an Uber for $34.16 to a potential apartment that we might be filming, and then took an Uber back uptown for $20, bringing the total spendings on Thursday to $82.70.
Uber?
Jesus don't like that.
How could you, bro? Eric, how could you? I'm disappointed in you. I'm very disappointed in you. Honestly, I feel the Uber though. If you are someone who finds yourself taking Uber a lot, think about it this way. Perhaps it could be you take public transportation to the place that you want to go to, and then Uber yourself back. If you can find one way to get there without the Uber, just to save some costs, and then Uber yourself back, that might be a better pathway. And usually, people end up relying on Uber when they are late to a certain place, right? So if you want to eliminate the need to use Uber and still get to your place on time by taking public transportation, you want to aim to be early, not on time.
It's a panoramic. We need our money. We need it now.
If your job interview is at 10, try to be there for 9:30. That means if something happens, or a collision happens, or something derails you, you end up being there for like 9:45 or 9:50, or you end up being there at 10 o'clock at the latest instead of 10:30, right? But the key to being on time is to actually be early. What they say, early is on time is late, and late is unacceptable. Okay, so aim to be early, and you won't have to use the Uber or Lyft last minute. Pro tip.
Friday, I was feeling a bit under the weather. I woke up early and got my workout in for $8.60. Everyone has these days from time to time. The rest of the day, I just stayed inside and worked from home. I had my coffee for 25 cents, my protein shake for 30 cents. As a creature of habit, for lunch, I had the 2 tempeh sandwiches from the day before. For dinner, I had my protein shake again, bringing the total spendings on Friday to $28.56. I thought I felt bad on Friday. Saturday was even worse. Even though I didn't go to the gym, I still spent my $8.60, bringing the total of Saturday to the exact amount as Friday, $28.56. Sunday, I was actually feeling a lot better, and it happened that my mom was in town visiting from New Jersey. And whenever I have friends or family in town, I feel like it's an obligation as a host to treat the people that are staying with you. Hannah, my mom, and myself jumped on the subway for $8.25. We went downtown to one of my favorite breakfast spots, Two Hands. And with that said, eating out in New York City can be, saying it's expensive is an understatement. It's literally double than anywhere else in the entire world, unless you are in another major city. And
you cannot put a price tag on family. She birthed you, Eric. She birthed you. Mom and dad. Yo, friendly reminder, y'all, okay? Christmas is coming up, holidays are coming up, or even for birthdays. The best gift, in my opinion, is paid bills, okay? Gifts that are aimed towards utilities, paid phone bill, paid Wi-Fi bill, or some type of bill. As I've gotten older, as I've immersed myself into the life of adulting, I don't need all this extra stuff. Let me just relieve some of their stress a little bit. You know, Dad, I got you with the Wi-Fi bill. Mom, I got you with the groceries for the week. I got you, right? They don't need all this extra stuff, man. Just less stress so that they can live longer. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
For breakfast came out to $88.29. But for 3 people, it's really not that bad. After breakfast, we all jumped on the subway and I treated for $8.25. Then we all walked over to Hudson Yards, which was 100% free. Hudson Yards is the newest tourist attraction in New York City, and I highly recommend if you are visiting to take the time and check it out. After exploring Hudson Yards, we all jumped in a taxi. Normally we would have taken the subway, but Hudson Yards is pretty far out of the way, so we took a taxi for $20.15. When you are visiting New York City, the main things to do are shopping and eating and walking. 2 of those things cost a lot of money. So of course, with family in town, we all went out to lunch to my favorite vegan Mexican restaurant called Ja Ja Ja. The grand total at Ja 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 came out to a pretty expensive $98.73. And of course, after that, all 3 of us back on the subway for $8.25. After my mom and my sister left, I had my typical protein shake at home for $7.30, bringing the grand total spending on.
Also, imagine he has a lot of friends, right? So if you have a lot of friends, he's probably gonna go out more. You need friends that you guys can just chill at home with without spending money. If chilling with your friends always require you to spend money, maybe they're not your friends. You know, as a kid, we just needed like a PlayStation or a little console or just watch them together and we were good. We did not need to go out all the time or spend money all the time. So if you want to be a bit more extreme, have no friends and you will save a ton of money. Think about it. Think about it.
Let's be nice. Yeah. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. You're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. Good Lord.
To $239.22. Looking at this number, it's kind of a bit disbelief. At the same time, living in a city does add up pretty quick. With all of that said, the grand total for the week comes out to $1,882.58. That amount right there, it's a lot of money, but that is not the true amount that I spend in a typical week. Now we have to take into account the recurrent upfront monthly costs of living and running my business in New York City, which can add up faster than I could ever imagine doing this exercise. First up is housing. I currently still rent my apartment in the city with the big goal of Hannah and I buying an apartment at the end of the year. And the monthly rent for our 1-bedroom apartment is $3,900, which comes out to $975 per week. Next up, health.
Nigga! What the fuck? 3,000! Do you regret moving to New York City? Do you regret moving to California? Do you regret moving to Toronto? Do you regret moving to British Columbia? Vancouver? Yo, that's someone's whole monthly salary going towards rent, bro.
Insurance, it's a mess. And I pay $1,300 per month for health insurance. And you're probably thinking that is a massive amount to be paying, but in 2019, I had some pretty big health scares, but my health insurance at the time didn't cover out-of-network costs, so I had to pay out of pocket. With all that said, I'm paying for one of the premium levels of health insurance that you can have in America just because of what happened last year. Internet is $80 per month. Even this amount may seem high, but I work from home and I need fast internet. And then rather than going through every single individual...
As you can see, paid bills, again, are the best type of gifts. I'm sure this video can exemplify my point again.
cost. I've compiled this list right here, and these are things that I use every single day almost to run my business, leaving the total reoccurrent cost per week at $1,382.57. With everything added up, the total amount of what I spend in a week in New York City comes out to $3,210.99. I highly recommend anyone watching this video to do this exercise. It's a great way to keep yourself accountable with your finances.
The biggest hack to keep yourself accountable is check your bank account. I mean, that's like the most basic way to like just constantly be aware of what's going in and coming out. If you spend more than 3 or 4 days without looking at your account, I think you're doing it wrong. I think you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. Savings. You know, when it comes down to it, it's always easier to try and find a way to spend less money than it is to always make more money necessarily. Honestly, for me, as a minimalist speaking here, when I can cover rent, like when I have rent paid, I can find a way to maneuver and manipulate other expenses in my life. But I feel like once you have rent covered, you can find a way to like make other things kind of like bend to your will, if you know what I'm talking about. But yo, while you're here, watch that past video right here on how you can actually lower your utility bills and save a ton of money on gas, electricity, etc. Or watch my other video right here on why living in Airbnbs may be a better option than signing a 6-month or 12-month lease with an apartment, especially if you live in one of those big ass cities, you know what I'm saying? But yo, God bless, much love, peace, and enjoy. Namaste. Always remember, if it doesn't feed you, don't water it, and too much of any good thing is good for nothing. How are you lot doing today? Say it with me. I'm doing more, saying less, and keeping that same energy. No cat. Bruv, Bavette, I'm out. Flip the script.
In my pockets, racks. I just want it, I don't need it. And if I tell her to pull up right now, you know I'm gonna receive it. She told me I should just go down on no falls and I should just see it. I couldn't believe it. I told her don't worry, just keep it. You know you belong to the streets.